anytime you get an opportunity to grow the game of baseball that we all love, it's very important. It's very dear to my heart, my family's heart, to be able to change the directions of young kids and get them on the right track and make them feel welcome in our arena. I think that everybody knows that we were once their age, and now, you know, they have opportunity to make something of themselves. I think that's so important to all of us. I'm very thankful for the hospitality that the Nicaraguan showed me. I think it for the first time being here. The most memorable moments that I have as far as home runs are hitting my very first one in the big leagues, hitting the back-to-back home runs with my father, 500 on Father's Day. I didn't believe that one swing could send a whole family home happy. But I mean, you look at records. It's a group effort, even though it's an individual accomplishment. You know, having over 1,500 RBIs, I still had, you know, 900 in front of me to drive them in. Being a young kid, it was the Panama Games, and I wasn't able to play because I was too young. And the opportunity I got when I was at 37 years old and wanted to put on the USA uniform. And it was an experience that I'll never forget. I had a lot of fun, you know, playing against the guys who were, you know, top level and representing your country. It's different. You know, I've played in playoff games that were big, but this one, you know, it feels different. Also, you know, when you put on that uniform, you represent your country, but you also you represent your family, and you don't want your uncles and aunts and cousins and friends calling you talking junk, you know, because they do it all year, you know. So you want to go out there and do your best, and anybody can beat anybody. You know, if you have that one day, and that's all it takes is one day. You know, when they talk about believing in yourself, it's one day at a time. It's not somebody is terrible one day and great the next. No, what happens is they build on it, and they keep building and get stronger and stronger. And you have a coaching staff, a front office, and a bunch of guys that care about, you know, putting a bunch of guys on the field who can play to represent this country, and winning one game, that's a start. You know, not saying that they're going to win the whole thing, but to go out there and put on a show for the families and friends and the country, you know, that's important. You know, everybody's missing. You know, I learned that as a little kid. Never underestimate your opponent, and that's the key. Is go out there and play hard and put on a good show, and you'll earn the respect of everybody in your pool and everybody who's playing in this tournament. I think, you know, like everybody, you have highs and lows. You know, for me, fortunately enough, I had, you know, a lot of people who were backing me and you know, was able to talk to me and get me right. I think, you know, as a kid, sometimes you don't understand certain things, and you know, you lash out, and I lashed out, and you know, it was over. And you know, I had people around me who, you know, put their arms around me, and I think that's the most important thing. Is you know, to have someone or a group to put their arms around you and try to guide you through difficult times. Because it's okay to ask for help. I think as men, sometimes we don't ask for help, and we should be able to. So, you know, I grew up in that clubhouse, and I understand about how to act like a professional, be a professional, and how a team works. And for me, you know, learning that at 8, 9, and 10, but understanding it at 14, they taught me a lot. And my favorite player is my dad. A guy that when he came home after a game, I could ask him questions. He could, and the funny thing is my dad was dad. He wasn't Ken Griffey Sr. He was just dad because he tried to leave everything at the ballpark unless I asked him. When he came home, it was like, how did your day go? What do you want to do? If it was football season, he'd watch me play football. Basketball season, he'd watch me play basketball. It wasn't until I was 14 that conversations changed when I said I wanted to be a pro baseball player. He allowed me to be a kid, and that's the most important thing that I wanted for my kids. I wanted them to be kids. We got plenty of time to be adults. Would you guys rather be your age now or 12, 13, running around with your friends? We always go 13 and 14, but we also say we want to know it. Shohei's a unique individual. To be able to pitch and hit at a high level. I mean, that's one of the things that makes him unique. He's got a very high baseball IQ to be able to dissect certain things and to play and not feel any pressure because he still, he has to deal with U.S. media and Japanese media. So he's one of those guys that has figured out what works for him, and he's been a star for, even before he came to the U.S. to play. We already knew about him, and the same thing with Ichiro, the same thing with Hideki, and Nomo. I mean, we knew about these guys before they get here, and that's what it takes. I mean, you look at a kid, and I forget his name, who pitched in the last, World Baseball Classic. He ended up getting signed, and it just takes one guy to like you and to be seen for you to get a start in the U.S. and play and try to complete your dreams. I don't put myself on a list. I think it's, to me, it's very disrespectful to say someone is the best, the greatest, and everything else when you haven't played against everybody. I mean, when I look at it, you can say that someone is the best of their era, the best I've seen, but to say that somebody is the greatest of all time is not fair and disrespectful to guys that paved the way for me to play. Your Hank Aaron's, your Willie Mays, your Mickey Mantles, Jackie Robinson. I can name, hundreds. I just think that to put myself on a list and to say that I'm the greatest is not fair, and to me, like I said, it's very disrespectful for even the statue out front, Roberto Clemente, and all the things that he's done. I think, to me, I think it's a talking point amongst fans, but for me personally, I don't compare myself to anybody. I just go out there and tip my hat and appreciative of what people say about me. Okay. Well, the first part is I was very surprised of the stadium. I wasn't expecting a beautiful facility because you hear so many stories. It's like this, it's this, X, Y, and Z. But that's before I saw Dusty's picture a couple days ago at the next to Roberto Clemente, and then I was like, okay. When it comes to Dusty, you got a guy that cares about players. He cares about, the team more than he cares about him. And I think he's going to teach these guys not only lessons in baseball, but lessons in life that they will be able to pass down to the next generation of baseball players. And that's what he's done. I mean, I had him for a half a season, played against him for years. And, he's a guy that, he's going to laugh. He's going to He's going to play jokes. He's going to make sure, but he's going to make sure the team is ready, and he's going to put some kids in some very successful positions. Even